Hey buddy, so SignalR, where you need to implement the SignalR. Okay, so let's say you're working on an application, messaging application, chat application, where you send a message from user A to user B or user C or user D, any other user. Those users should receive the message at the same time, in real time, within millisecond. How you achieve that? So there are multiple ways. There are some third parties as well, but for that you have to pay. But within the Microsoft, if you Microsoft.net, if you can use SignalR for this real-time communication, you don't need to pay a single cost for real-time messaging, right? So we will implement the real-time application, which is SignalR, and it is pretty straightforward. In older days, there was a little complex to implement it, but nowadays it is straightforward, like couple of steps that you have to implement, and your SignalR is ready, right? So what we will do, we will use Angular application as a front end and dotnet as a backend, and there we will implement a SignalR, and on the front end Angular we will consume that SignalR service to receive the messages and send the messages, right? Okay, so now let's go into the code part and see how these great things are implemented. Okay, so let's focus on the backend first. Let's implement the SignalR first, and when SignalR is ready, we'll go to our Angular application and consume that part. Okay, so this code that you see, I have already created this application, right? But so now what we will do, we will create a brand new application and we will just follow the same steps. Okay, so you know that what all steps is required instead of just explaining this thing. Okay, so what we will do, let's go to Visual Studio and we will create a brand new application for a SignalR today. So let's say create a new project, right? And I will say let me create a .NET Core Web API. Okay, and in .NET Core Web API, let's keep some name and let's say SignalR, not this, SignalR what? SignalR code, and let's call it SignalR code is fine, right? So let's say name. Next, .NET 8 long sports, we are going to use the .NET 8. I'm just choosing all the default option because that really doesn't matter for me at the time when I'm going to create a SignalR application. Okay, so I have this brand new application, right, where nothing is set up, where this is currently empty with weather forecast API endpoint. So what do we need to do now? So first step first, right? So let's go to the existing application which is already ready. So what we will do here, if you go to program.cs class, right, the first step is you would require this builder service dot add SignalR. We have to register this. So let's copy this part, go to other application, program.cs, right, and I will add that thing here. Come on. It's not working, that's fine. Maybe I haven't copied correctly. So builder.service, I will say dot, and I will say add SignalR. Here you go. Okay, now did you notice I haven't installed any Microsoft Nugget package, right, to implement this add SignalR. But if you are working in the older version like before .NET 8, so there was some sort of packages that you have to install. There was some sort of JS libraries that you need to install. But right now on .NET side, what I have done, I have not installed any Nugget package. What I have done, I have just registered my SignalR. I said my builder service, hey, builder.service.add SignalR. I am registering my SignalR. Okay, so this is the first step. Now the second step, let's go to second step, and the second step is this one. Okay, so we have to tell after registering SignalR which class I'm going to choose for a hub. Interesting thing is, what is hub? Okay, so hub hub enables in SignalR that to send a message from client to server and server to client. So this is actually responsible for your real-time communication. This makes sure the message that you send to different user, that message is being delivered to that different user. Okay, so hub is important. If you don't create a hub, your real-time communication will not work. Okay, so let's copy this and make sure this is before app.run. Okay, go to the other application. Before app.run, I have this registered now, but the thing is I don't have this chat hub, right? So what I will do, I will say what I'm trying to say here, app, right? And then map hub, register my this class in hub, in map hub, map my this class, which is not yet ready. We will create together, right? And then this part, this is a endpoint, right? So in normal controllers, right, the regular controller, you define your endpoints like HTTP GET, put, post, right? But over here, what you will do, you will just register your hub class in the map hub, right? You will tell this is my hub class, you map that with the SignalR, and then you have to say how the endpoint should look like. So this is your HTTP end path /chat hub. This can be any name. Okay, so I have said here chat hub. So what we'll do now, we will create a chat hub class. Okay, so let's do one thing, go to Solution Explorer, say right click here, come on, and say add, say new class, and then say paste, here you say add, right? And now here you go. So make sure you have to implement a base class that is a hub. Here you go, this hub. And you see this hub is coming from microsoft.ASP.NET Core.SignalR. So this is the beauty of every Microsoft upgrade. Now SignalR is part of .NET, part of Microsoft.NET. You don't have to install any Nugget package for this. Okay, now this class is not yet ready because this is just a skeleton. Okay, now you have to create a method in this hub, in this chat hub, where you will send message from one user to other users in real time. This class will take care of that because this is a hub. Okay, so every time when you're working with SignalR, you have to create a hub for a real-time messaging. Okay, so now let's go to the other application which we already have. So I will go to this chat hub that I've already created there, and see the message, the function is pretty straightforward. So what we have done, we have created a send message method. We are saying what would be the username and what is the message. That's it, right? So let's copy this and let's talk in our other class. Here you go. Okay, so this is just a method. This can be any name. Okay, send message 1, send message 2, or send, doesn't matter, as per your requirement, right? So since we are creating a real-time chat application, that's why I said chat hub. But in your maybe if you are working for a notification system where you receive a message from somewhere and you wanted to send that notification to all the users, maybe you can rename this chat hub to maybe notification hub, right? So it's all up to you. It's not hardcore rule that this should be the name. Only this is the hardcore rule. Whichever class you are creating, make sure you have to inherit this class, and then only you can do a couple of things with the SignalR. Okay, now since you already have this hub class, now you can invoke this method. See, if hub class is not there, let me just try to comment it out. You see, this client is not working now. So to implement the SignalR stuff in your hub class, you have to implement base class, which is hub base class. Okay, and this is your method. It can be any name, right? I wanted to receive the username and then what message that user is trying to pass. That message I will capture here. Now what I'm saying clients.all send a sync. That means I wanted to send my message to all clients. So this clients.all, any client, right? Doesn't matter one user or two user or three users. So I'm trying to implement in a way that I wanted to send a message to all clients, but there are different methods as well. So if you say client start, here you go, all. So you wanted to send all, but except one particular user maybe. Okay, so those are the methods. Maybe you wanted to send a message to particular caller who has passed their ID, and you don't want to send every other user. So there are different methods, and you can send those messages to a group as well, like particular group, right, or particular user or users. So there are different methods. For today, just to understand the concept how SignalR can be implemented, right, how the messaging can be passed in the real time, let's go with the straightforward method, which is all. Okay, so I wanted to send my message, whatever message I receive from this user, whosoever user has used my application, they should receive the message at the same time. Okay, now this is the method that will take care of the sending of message. Sending of message to who? This receive message. Okay, so this is hub class method. Okay, and this method that I'm trying to pass, I'm saying whosoever is client application, Angular applications, or on the browser, wherever this message is being consumed, receive message, everyone will receive this message, like these two things. So this is a method that would be used on the consumer application, which is Angular application. This should be that name, and this can be any name. Okay, but as a standard practice, let's use the receive message, and that Angular application will consume this, and they will say, okay, I need to implement this maybe on the page load, on the ng on it, and keep checking if there is a message, just receive it. Okay, you are done. So this is the SignalR stuff, and you are ready. So what you have done? So let me repeat one more time. So you have implemented SignalR by just this line without injecting any nugget package. You have app.map hub, where you have implemented chat hub, right? Let me just use the namespace now. I have this ready. Okay, and then you said the endpoint. What would be the endpoint that Angular application or consume client application will require to implement? Okay, and then you have created this class with client hub class, which is inherited from hub parent, hub base class, right? Send a message, and you have consume client.all send sync, and then this is the Angular side method that will be consumed on the client side, and then username, and then message, and that's it, right? Your SignalR is ready. Now coming back to your Angular application. So Angular application, I have already one project created, so this is the same thing. So on the SignalR side, on the front end side, this is my already this application ready. Okay, this is working fine. So let's start from the service part. Okay, so what we have done on the service part, this is important. So you have to make sure you are saying import star as SignalR from Microsoft/SignalR. Okay, and how you can do that npm install. So go to somewhere on the package.json, and you see we have here Microsoft SignalR. So you have to install this client library, which is provided by Microsoft. Okay, and when you have this npm install ready, when this package is downloaded in your nugget package folder, your node modules folder, so you can create a service. Okay, now this service will make a call to our .NET application that we have created. This will make a call to your this endpoint chat hub. Comes to chat hub, it will make a call to this class send a message. Okay, so let's go to Angular application. So we have consumed this, right? That is the first step. Second, we have to make a connection with that SignalR. Okay, so and to make a connection with the SignalR, you have to initialize your hub connection. So what we have done, we have created one object. Here you say hub connection, right? And we are saying SignalR.hub connection. We are implementing this into this object, private hub connection. Okay, and this SignalR is what? This is this one, and it can be any name. If you say SignalR1, then you have to say here SignalR1. Here you go. This one, I guess. Yeah, this one. So it could be any name. Okay, so let me just undo this. Okay, so we have this SignalR hub connection. In hub connection, now I have this object. Now what I will do, I will initialize this object, and I will build my connection. So what I'm doing here, so I'm saying new this SignalR, right, dot hub connection builder I'm trying to build. Build with what? I have to pass a URL, the end path, right? On which port it is working, and then chat hub, the end path. So one thing, come on, this chat hub, go to launch setting.json file, okay, and let's see on which port it is required to work. So we will use the HTTP port because on the local host system, sometimes HTTPS can trouble us. So just I wanted to comment this part and I wanted to focus on this local host. Okay, so I have already now localhost. So this is 5191, right? So we can easily say 5191. So instead of 5158, 5191, right? And chat hub is same. Okay, now what I'm saying, with automatic reconnect. So it is possible sometime, there is a disturbance between client and server, which, Angular application and .NET SignalR. So what I'm trying to say, just try to reconnect by, by yourself from the client side if the connection broke. Okay, and then I'm saying build. So this is my hub connection object is ready, right? Where I'm saying the chat hub endpoint path where you need to make a call, and I'm saying if the connection break, just make an automatic connection, and then I'm saying build it. So this is one line that you have to implement, right? And when this is done, you have to say, hey, hub connection start. That's it. You have to start your hub connection. The communication between Angular application and .NET SignalR would be done by this hub connection. Okay, I'm adding extra logic. I'm saying then when the connection is started, the connection is successfully made, I'm saying okay, connection started. But if there is error, I'm just saying error while starting the connection. And you can implement your own business logic. If you wanted to perform some specific operation after the connection is start, you can write down in the then part. If you wanted to perform some operation, or you wanted to perform the exception handling or the logging, you can do in the catch part as well, right? So it's all up to you. But for us to start the connection, this line is important. Hub connection dot start, and hub connection is ready from here, where I have passed all the information. Okay, so this is my start connection method, and I have made the connection here. Okay, now send message. When user will send a message, right? So this can be any name, but just for a consistency, I'm using a send message name. So what I'm doing here, I'm passing the username here and the message. Why I need these two parameters? Because on the backend side, if you remember, we required two parameters, right? So I need these two things to pass to the server. Here now I will play around hub connection. See this hub connection that I made a connection. I have started the connection with this chat hub. I'm going to play with that hub connection only. So I'm saying, hey hub connection, make a call to one method which is send message. This is the send message. Okay, this can be any name. If you want to change a method name here, you have to change here as well. Okay, so this call is not regular to HTTP calls. Though we have said here that make a HTTP connection with this, but this is hub connection. Don't mislead or don't confuse yourself that you are making a HTTP connection. No. So if you look at this, you are going to make that call, this service method call of the SignalR send message through hub connection dot invoke, right? So you're saying this dot hub connection dot invoke which method, this method, and pass these two values that is required by this method, which is user and then message. Okay, and that's it. This catch is something that you can implement your own logic, but that's it to send a message. Now, what is this received message listener? This can be again any name. This is just my name as a best practices. Okay, so what I have done here, I have received message listener. What it will do, it will keep listening. Whenever user A send a message to any other user, it will keep listening on the the Angular application, and it will just capture the message on real time from the server. So what I'm doing here, so you see, I told you that hub connection we're going to play around. Hub connection is making a call to receive message. Again, this can be any name, but this name should be similar to this name. So whenever there is a message, this method is responsible to display to the user in real time. Okay, and what we have done, we have created a callback message. So we are passing the whole method to this hub connection. So we are saying user, and we are saying the message as a callback. Okay, so you see here we are passing these two things. Okay, so not this one, let's go to VS Code, and your service is ready. Okay, now what do you require? So once your service is ready, you can go to your SignalR, you can create one folder for SignalR, right, or wherever you require. Now, if you need a chat application, so this is actually your page. Let's say message page or notification page, I have named it SignalR, but not necessarily you have to name it SignalR. SignalR job was just here, till here, .service, where you have to consume. Now this would be your actual, business page. Let's say chat page, let's say notification page, and over there you will implement your logic. So on the HTML side, I have two input. One is user, right, and one is message. So in user we will place a username, in a message we will place a user message, right? And then this send, there is a button. When user click on that send button, we will call to send message method. Okay, and then we have displayed all those messages through the for loop through the from the array, and displaying a username and a message. Okay, so send message. So if you go to now SignalR component TS, right, on send message, see, you are making a call to service.send message that we just created here, this one. Okay, you are passing username and a message, and because this is straightforward, see, component part and HTML part is straightforward. So you're saying SignalR service dot send message, this dot user, this dot message. Your SignalR service is here imported on the top. Okay, now to keep receiving the latest information on page, the latest message on page, right, we had already created a method which was a listener on the service side. So we are just calling that. We are saying this dot SignalR service, add this method which is receive message listener, and that callback method, user and message, and we are pushing into one array, this dot message dot push username and message. That array we have created here. Why this array? Because if you look at the HTML side, we are displaying all the message from that array. Whenever we receive any new message, right, from this method, we are keep pushing into a message array. Okay, and before that you require a start connection, right? So there were three methods. One was start connection on the SignalR service, if you remember, this one, right? So you have consumed it on an ng on it. There was the other method which was a receiver that will keep listening on the page load, right? So this is that method. And there was a one method for sending, right, to message to the user, to the server or client. So that message we have called here on the click send message. Now how it works? So let me do one thing. Let me just try to run this application now. Okay, and I know there would be some difficulties. So what difficulties it would be? So we can address those maybe now. So go to program.cs. So let me go to my older code which is already stable and mature. So I will go to program.cs. So you also have to make sure you are doing codes. This it has nothing to do with the SignalR, but these are always required. You have to just enable the core, right? Enable the core for your client application. So what I'm doing here, I'm saying builder.service add course. I'm saying because my local host, which is Angular application, is running on the 4200. So I'm saying hey, accept all the requests from this with origin. So even if your code, when you are implementing this, it doesn't work, your client and server has some course issue, so just apply these two lines that I'm going to do now. Okay, so the first line is this one, builder.service add course. I'm just going to copy it. Okay, and I'm going to place it right after my SignalR. Here you go. Okay, now one more thing. So there's one more line that you have to add, this one. So it is required for actually the SignalR. Okay, and it must come before map hub. Okay, so if I go to this, here you go, map hub. So you can pass here, right, app.useCode. So if you don't use this line and just use this line, still your client and server will not able to make a communication. I can give you in a real time. So I'm going to comment this code. I'm going to run it now. Okay, so it is running on 5191 right now. My other application should also work. Here you go. Here you go. Okay, so let's use our one application. Okay, and try to send a message. Let's say Perveen, and let's say hi, send a message. Here you go, nothing happened, right? And even if I try to put a breakpoint on my chat hub, if I go to my chat hub class, here you go, let's see, even it, it is able to make a call. Here you go, nothing, right? If I say inspect here and try to make it a little bigger, can go to console. Yes, you see, cannot send data because this is not in the connected state. It is not yet connected. So what I need to do? And if you look at this message, it is saying 5191 chat 1 negotiation version 404 not found. There is some issue, right? And the issue looks like this is 404. Okay, that means it is not try to able to understand this whole thing, the 5191 chat hub. So now if I go to code now, go to my program.cs class, enable this line, just try to run this application one more time. So on the safer side, it is taking all the latest changes. This application is live, the SignalR is live. Now if I go to this one, come on, I wanted to clean this out and I wanted to refresh one more time. Here you see connection started. Where is my SignalR application? Here you go. Okay, let make it smaller. Let's close this. Okay, and here you go. So I'm saying this is Parveen and I'm saying hi and saying send. Here you go. See the message received by chat hub. In the send message method, we have user, which was Parveen, and message is hi. Okay, now see, this method has a message, but what it will do, it will send this message to all consumer who have this method consumed. So that means if this app, because I'm saying all, right? So all clients who have this method receive message, just send this data. Okay, now what I'm doing here, I have two clients here, right? One is this one and second is this one, right? The two client I have which have the same method, definitely, because these are the same port, right? I'm just using on different browser. So now see, I'm going to stop the breakpoint now and just run it. And if you look at this, okay, come on. Okay, I have to refresh this because this was the older version, and let's refresh this one more time and try to send the message now. So say send. Here you go. See, these are two different browser. Let's say this is sitting on USA, this is sitting in India. People from India, person from India has sent a message to hi, send a hi, and the person who is sitting on the USA side, they have also received the same message in real time. Right, now let's do one thing. Let's say this person is sitting in Japan, okay, and he is saying Japan user, okay, and see send. Here you go. See, India and USA both have received the same message. So see, this is the real-time communication now, right? So this is one of the example. You can create a real-time application through the SignalR. You don't have to do much thing in these era, in these days now. On the backend side, it is pretty straightforward. On the client hand side, it is again pretty straightforward. You just have to create a service and you have to use that service as per your business logic. So this kind of application you can use on chat, wherever need a real-time communication or the notification. For example, you are building some application where when the message is received, you wanted to send that notification, on the top right corner is a bell icon to every other user who is currently logged in, so they don't need to refresh the page. Okay, so let's say user has submitted this request, or user has sent you a message as a notification on the top right corner bell icon. So you can use this mechanism without paying any cost to that user, right? So that's all for today's video. I will see you in the next video.